Hi guys, my name is William Scully. You may know me as Mathatos Bill. I have been in seminary for about a year and a half studying New Testament Greek and Old Testament Hebrew, and I just wanted to take some time to discuss an issue that I think is rampant in the West, not just in America, but throughout all the Western nations, especially in Europe. We are being invaded by Middle Eastern religions, Middle Eastern peoples that are antithetical to our values and the way of life that we live over here. The European nations are infested with radical Islam that's taking over and enforcing Sharia law. We have that to a degree with places like Dearborn, Illinois, eventually New York City, which I believe will happen. But also we have a more insidious infestation that is almost taboo to talk about, but I've seen come up more and more recently. And I can't say enough how I appreciate the bravery and the dedication of boots on the ground journalists like Tyler Oliviera in bringing up these issues. Today we're going to react to his video about the New Jersey Hasidic invasion in Muncie and I believe Jackson, and I'll be giving my thoughts and some commentary over the video as it progresses. But this is a major issue that I think we've been having in the West, and it's time we finally start talking about it. For the last 70 or so years, of course, we haven't been able to mention that because of the tragedy that happened, but we are 2 generations removed now, and I think it's vastly overplayed, and it's time we at least bring up the discussion. That way we can talk about it civilly and hope that nothing like that ever happens again, while we also maintain the integrity of our nation and the integrity of the values and the values that this nation was built upon, without forfeiting our Christian heritage, Christian culture to these other Middle Eastern religions. I understand Christianity is a Middle Eastern religion. It comes from the same root as Judaism. However, Christianity has developed the West, and the West has developed around Christianity, and neither of those two factors have anything to do with Judaism. Rather than constantly having another group of insular, non-integrating, non-assimilating peoples. And I'm not saying that the Jews are worse than the Somalians, the Muslims, the Hispanics that are illegally migrating here, but this is the only group that we're seemingly not allowed to talk about. So enough of me just rattling and enough of this introduction. Let's just get right into the video.
Welcome in a lot of other places based on your videos.
You don't own this place. You don't own America.
No, you should move on. Nobody wants you here. Please move out.
Tyler, it seems like you discovered that anti-Semitism is lucrative, no?
So obviously thought that we should pay for their money, so why don't you move to a different country?
Why don't you go back to Israel? That would be my question. Keep public safety.
And he's exactly right about that. Why should we be moving to a different country? This is our country. We've afforded you this luxury of having your own insular, separated out town, and we really haven't even afforded you that luxury. You've taken that luxury. As we'll see in this video, I have watched it. I tried to react a couple days ago, but the software, I'm still learning the roots. Why don't you go back to Israel? This was a nation established for your people, against the will of the people that were currently living there. Why don't you go to where we're funding you to have free healthcare, free childcare? Why do we have to continue to fund you while you live over here?
I'd say 150 calls about you already.
What are they calling about?
People try to live a quiet life. You two gentlemen, I saw a video of you walking into 136 Hillside. They asked not to come back.
Amazing.
If you come back, it'll be a trespassing charge.
So you say anti-Semitism, I say anti-Goyism.
The Jewish community is extremely racist.
You have a group of people that call themselves God's people. You are a Semite supremacist.
Elon Musk has 12 kids. Why can't I have 12 kids?
He pays for them. You're arguing that I should pay for your kids.
I'm arguing that the government said.
That's our money. I pay taxes.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Can I call the cops on you?
This guy.
We may be in a corrupt hellhole. So what am I being pulled over for?
We got a call. Keep your hands on the steering wheel when you do something.
This is Lakewood, New Jersey, home to one of the largest and fastest growing Orthodox Jewish communities in America, having anywhere from 6 to 10 kids per family, causing the community's rapid growth to spill into the neighboring towns of Jackson, Toms River, Brick, and Howell, causing non-Jewish residents to fear that their town will soon be turned into Little Jerusalem, just like Lakewood.
Tactics
They have big
within
Jerusalem.
this community, I would liken it to organized crime.
You were the vice chairman of the Israel Advisory Committee for Donald Trump in 2016. How did you get a relationship with the White House?
This is damning. I have generally been a Trump supporter. He, whether being backed into a cage or not, has started to make good on the promises to release the files. However, on the eve of us going to war with Iran again, I will not vote for him or anyone from the right that supports Israel, that supports us going to war for Israel. Like Ben Mosquito said, if the U.S. doesn't act soon, Israel will be forced to attack Iran on their own. Okay, that's not our problem, nor should it be.
Who in the White House?
I think I don't want to say.
Who will remember?
Probably Jeffrey Epstein. That guy probably has ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Listen with you right now, Chris. Is this video a mistake, man?
I'm going to be honest. The powers out here are pretty immense.
It's not about Jackson. Jackson is a test case. If it isn't squashed soon, is going to take over the entire country.
It's already a problem in all the surrounding towns. You have billionaires from Lakewood being involved, people connected to the President of the United States.
In New Jersey, is there room for a two-state solution? No, there's clearly not. I think it's going to be a fight.
I ride around Lakewood. There are near Lakewood, outside of Lakewood, and all these towns around Lakewood. Ride around Lakewood. There are.
Kahel Yatov Kol Diso Tamor. Disotomayor. The congregation that does good. The congregation of the good heart. Of Sotomayor.
Near Lakewood, outside of Lakewood, and all these towns around Lakewood, there are housing developments. Well, Goyim live there. There are no Yidden there yet, but all these housing developments, someone who they could turn it around. We saw what happened in Lakewood itself. There are a lot of other opportunities if people want to take that jump and become a shtickle pioneer.
As the Orthodox Jewish...
There's this thing called Aliyah, where Jews are allowed to have dual citizenship in Israel. They're allowed to go to Israel, reside there. It's like a pilgrimage trip for them. People that want to pioneer their shtickles and take over these Goyim communities because there's no Yidden there, they should be put on Aliyah and then have their American citizenship revoked.
Community consolidated political power in Lakewood, taking majority control of the township committee, planning board, zoning board, and school board, financially depleting the public school system for non-Jewish kids, overwhelming local infrastructure, and turning a once quiet town into a densely populated, over-trafficked Jewish enclave prioritizing Jews over non-Jews. Before I investigate the Jewish takeover of Lakewood and of the nearby town of Jackson, I first want to visit the town where the blueprint was born, Muncie, New York.
Someone like David Badner saw the opportunity a few years ago. He bought several 50 to 100 houses in Muncie. I believe that he single-handedly, in a certain way, turned around Muncie. These are opportunities that come up every...
Turned it around from an American town to a Jewish conclave. That's the mindset. Again, not of all these Jewish people, but of their leadership, of the ones who think that they were given a right to my nation 3,000 years ago. Their mindset is that they can turn it around so that it's theirs instead of everybody's.
Every once in a while, and someone has to step up to the plate.
Miller News, thanks for meeting up on such short notice, man.
My Muncelandians, we here. We outside.
When did you notice Muncie begin to form as a Hasidic Jewish enclave?
I would say 20 years ago, I saw the first start of it, and then every year, it just started to grow exponentially.
Hey! It's me! How are you? Stop what?
They on Tyler. They on Tyler ass.
But the Jews here were not happy to see me after I asked how they afford 7 to 10 kids on a single income and if they were on welfare in Kiryas Joel. How many kids do most people have out here?
17, 18.
How do they afford 17, 18 kids?
They are proud to do what the Torah says, that you need to be multiple and fruitful.
How do you afford to study the Torah, though?
God help me.
Does the American taxpayer help you, too?
Also, yes.
How do people afford to have such big families out here?
It's... I'm not saying anything.
Are you Tyler?
I'm Tyler.
Are you trying to do another anti-Semitism video?
How did I spread anti-Semitism? That's crazy you said that. Life circumstance, different culture. So
This one's got tattoos. Maybe he can relate to this goyim that's coming around and exposing us.
their way of like, listen, I know you're frustrated about some of the things we focused on? Is that kind of what I'm getting at?
Sure.
So give me some examples of how things were misconstrued. Yeah, what did I get that was wrong?
So it's not necessarily misconstrued. Well, it is misconstrued. There's a lot of it that's, you'll cut a lot of it, cut out different words, make it sound a lot worse than it is. There's a lot of people here that are on welfare. A lot of people are in Section 8. A lot of people that are on a bunch of different WIC, food stamps, stuff like that.
Sure.
If you go to any low-income communities, you're going to see that. They're all going to be on the different welfares.
Okay, so they were on welfare.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Amish, which, if you don't know, is the Anabaptist community that came over here. They're the ones with the horse and buggies. They're kind of related to the Mennonites. They make all their own goods. They're kind of insular like this. The key difference being they don't accept government aid or welfare. They are an entirely self-sufficient group of people. It is doable. They might not be high tech. They might not generally rely on cars, though it changes from place to place. But they do it entirely without government aid.
Denying that.
Okay.
But again, it's the way you say it, it's the way you twist it, the way you...
How do I twist it?
Not twist it. Again, twist is the wrong word.
I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from.
Growing up in an extremely... Dude, go.
Ah, the insufferable hug. See, you say I misrepresent, and then they do that, like, come on.
I'm not saying they're all good people. It's like I said, wherever you go, there's going to be the idiots. There's always going to be the assholes wherever you go.
I totally get it.
You talk about the community. It feels like you're trying to create a narrative that you did not find. You found people that are on welfare that have a lot of kids, but your headline did wrote, welfare addicted Jews.
What is your frustration? I'm curious. Welfare dependent, welfare reliant, welfare addicted, what's the difference? Tell me. They need it to survive, and without it, they die. What is the difference?
It's addictive to bait click. That's an addiction.
That's an addiction?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you addicted to being a victim or what?
No.
The Goyim were grateful someone was finally bringing up their town's issues.
Don't let me front. I get VA disability. Am I relying on that? Of course I am. Would I be mad if somebody said I was VA addicted? Probably not, especially in a joking manner, because of course it's going to be clickbait. It's his job.
You think they take the money?
Good, man.
Bienvenidos a Monsila con mi amigo. Alright, see you, bro. How do you like living here as a non-Jew?
So-so. Well, I don't
What do you mean by so-so?
Huh? Because they're aesthetics.
Do they treat you as one of them?
No,
Are you guys on the same page?
No. They don't bother me because I don't deal with them.
Okay. You think there is large-scale welfare fraud out here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a lot. They get away with everything. They get the Section 8, they get everything.
Let's go look at those one by one.
Huh? Because they're aesthetics.
Do they treat you as one of them? Are you guys on the same page?
No. They don't bother me because I don't deal with them.
Okay. You think there is large-scale welfare fraud out here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a lot. They get
7 people, including Rabbi, arrested in a $14 million Rockland County fundraising scam. Feds. Federal funds were meant to help underprivileged children, authorities say.
away with everything.
Mortgage welfare fraud bust in Brooklyn, Orange, and Rockland County Orthodox communities.
They get the Section 8.
Even more Hilul Hashem, Muncie couple arrested and charged with welfare fraud.
They get everything, the free housing and, you know.
Do you think most people work out here in the Hasidic community? No?
And again, I want to emphasize that it's not just the Jews. We see the same thing happening in Minnesota with the Somalis. I'm sure the same things are happening in our southern states with the Hispanics. As a nation, we need to crack down on this stuff. Strongly. Oppressively. Brutally. Examples need to be made out of every creed, culture, and color to show the rest of the nation that this will not stand in a society of order and good discipline. Because there's no way to have a high trust society without that kind of level of accountability.
How do they afford their bills?
I wish I knew. I would do the same thing, too.
And what are your thoughts on the driving out here? I gotta ask you that. It's the most important question.
I don't want to talk about it.
The driving is crazy.
Okay.
You got a stop sign over there, they don't even stop. They just pass, you know. That's why so much traffic and accidents, and it's crazy.
You saw the Curious Joel video. Why was that video good?
That video was good because I've been in East Ramapo for as long as I remember. I also went to Spring Valley High School. I've been in the school system, and we've definitely seen a lot of things, especially since our school board was majority private school owners, mainly Jewish white men, and most of our school was not Jewish. And they had control over our public school system over like the past 10 years, purposely voting no on our school budget vote so that way we would fail. And we lost about 3-2 schools.
Basically, through block voting, Orthodox...
This level of letting foreign groups come in, not necessarily foreign, they were probably born in America, but letting different ideological groups in, they can only do this because of the high trust society. They can only do this because we're polite. The rest of us follow the laws. They know where things are the weakest, and they just go in there and invade. This kind of behavior may last a generation or two, but it will hit a critical point. And we've seen that before, and it's important. It's direly important that we do not hit that point again, and we start going in and changing things while people still want to talk. Because eventually people are going to be sick of talking. People are going to be sick of trying to reason and negotiate. And they're going to resort immediately to action. And that action is not necessarily going to be positive and nice and looking for the best outcome for everybody.
Orthodox Jews won enough seats to control the East Ramapo School Board and went on to eliminate hundreds of public school positions like teachers and social workers, while approving millions of taxpayer dollars to be spent on their children's religious private schools, ultimately gutting the public school system for the estimated 9,000 black and brown public school students, while diverting that money to their private religious schools.
They give us food that's rotten and it's cold, and it hurts our stomach.
I ask you, do not take our music program away.
The people that have to do with giving rotten, cold, disgusting food should be held criminally accountable to the highest degree. You don't mess with children. And that's a focus for them for a reason, because the children are their future. So if you demoralize the children, well, you demoralize enough children in about 5, 10, 15, even 15 years. If you think I'm bad, the ones that come after me are going to be so much worse.
I love playing an instrument. My brother would be crushed.
And the budget cuts were so devastating that in one instance, an elementary school shut down, and the majority Jewish school board then voted to sell it to a Jewish yeshiva for pennies on the dollar. Basically, the poorest, most vulnerable kids in these communities had their schools gutted and looted, all by a majority Jewish school board whose kids didn't even attend.
Not the biggest fan of pluralism. This is disgusting. You do not go after the weakest and most downtrodden ghettos of a community. Not the biggest fan of pluralism, but we owe these communities way more than this. And this is in the greater context of we are giving them $2.6 billion a year for forever. Their nation is being fully funded by people like you, people like me, people like the ones they're displacing. And yet they still feel the need to go in and take on our soil.
End public school.
We believe that some of the decisions that have been made by the board have not been in the best interest of the public school community.
You don't like it, find yourself another place to live.
How was your education?
My education, it was decent, but it definitely could have been better if we had the resources that we were allowed to have. But again, for the past 10, 15 years or so, people have been purposely voting no on our school budget vote, so that way we had no funding and money for our school. And, that was done purposely.
And who was voting no?
Majority, the Jewish community. You drive around here, you'll literally see signs saying vote no for a school budget, which I think is crazy. Luckily, we were able to get a ward system to be able to get 3 seats for the wards, but if it wasn't for that, we still would be majority white Jewish men voting for public school students that they don't care about. Yeah, and they purposely go out their way to isolate us. We're basically isolated to the point where we feel like this isn't our home.
A lot of people like to say they're ducking taxes and all that. There's truth and lies to that, but I could only tell you that I've only seen the bad part. The bad part is I've seen houses get broken down. I've seen certain spaces, buildings get. The part is I've seen houses get.
Muncie mega developer. Don't assume it's Orthodox only. I have a lot of concerns and skepticism regarding that kind of community being able to develop within Rockland County.
Broken down. I've seen.
Then stop pushing out those who aren't Orthodox. Stop treating the community like it's an Orthodox yeshiva, and act like you're living in a larger context, a larger community.
certain spaces, buildings get destroyed for, let's just say, for more kosher customs. You feel me? So
I want to thank you for showing our community. I don't believe in hiding. I believe we have a tremendous amount to be proud of. And like every community, we're different. We have our goods. Other communities have their positives.
Tell me about what are some of the best things about this community.
Tonight at sundown, we shut our phones, we shut our cars, we go to shul. The most beautiful part of our religion. Do you understand that Orthodox Jews?
I do want to pull something up real quick. His name is Yoel. That is so funny. I never caught that. But
we go to shul. The most beautiful part of our religion. Do you understand that Orthodox Jews can be anywhere? The sun is coming down, and it's the last opportunity to pray what's called mincha, which is afternoon services. They could be in the most important meetings, and they'll go pray, and they could care less about anything happening. The same things with Shabbos.
That's not necessarily a positive thing. They could care less what's happening, and you see that by their driving and the way they treat other people.
We come home, our families are waiting. We sing Shalom Aleichem. We welcome in the Shabbos, and you'll say back Aleichem Shalom, right?
Could they feed 10 kids
Yes.
without those programs?
I am one of 10 children.
You're
My
driving
father-
a G-Wagon, bro.
My father was never on any welfare. I used to reuse sandwich bags to save my father a penny.
That's great for you.
You're not welcome here, and you're not welcome in a lot of other places based on your video.
What about me, though?
Because he didn't just take the bait and be a good little goy and say, a goyim tov, and say, oh, that's great of you. You're not welcome here. Get the...
I love you, man. You are funny.
You don't own this place. You don't own America.
He's allowed to stay because he's funny.
I can do whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
Get in your G-Wagon, get to work.
You're not trying to bring people together. You never did, you never will. It's who you are. Somebody hurt you deeply, and I'm sorry.
He was right. Someone did hurt me. Whoever told my sponsors to pull out after making one video exploring a community of welfare-addicted Jews. If you want to help me avoid ending up on welfare too, and get access to all of these videos early, and watch never-before-seen content I can't upload on YouTube.
He was also banned from Patreon right after this happened. His Patreon got removed, and he's got his own website, which I will put in the description.
Go subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/Tyler Oliviera for $5 a month. Back to the video. After speaking to frustrated Goyim in Muncie, I headed to Lakewood, New Jersey, one of the fastest growing Orthodox Jewish communities in America, where a similar Jewish takeover has taken place, leading to the gutting of the public school system, all while turning a predominantly working class Irish and Italian town into Little Jerusalem.
I'm trying to merge a gap to see if there's any way that we could actually be one community. Because as you can tell, it's two separate communities. Look around. You will not see a non-Jewish resident here.
We got the Yiddish bus.
This is really all Jewish stores.
Sure.
Now, that pizza place, it's going to be kosher pizza, probably.
A lot of these signs are written in Yiddish, and everything's insulated, basically.
There should be no sign in this nation that's written in anything other than English. I mean, Spanish, French, Indian, any of the Islamic languages. We have a few Indian, and I think it's begins with a D. I can't think of it, but it's one of the Islamic, one of the Middle Eastern languages. Dari. There should be no other language on any signage besides English in this nation.
Come here to this plaza, get everything you need. Quite convenient, quite nice.
Now, everyone can shop here. Of course, we could go in and they'll be friendly, but everything's geared towards one community.
And is it always this way? This part here, is this newly developed in the last?
Oh yeah, so this used to be a concrete yard.
Got it.
So we're almost where we're standing. Used to have rows of concrete trucks.
Sure. It's bustling. Busy. Now, this place was packed with Jews buying groceries for Shabbos, but keep in mind, Goyim are fully allowed to come in here and shop whenever they please.
They're very friendly. I don't think anybody's going to be nasty to us. Is a lot of the fear bullshit warranted? Definitely not. Definitely not. But I do think they don't feel comfortable enough to go there.
But it's important to understand the bigger picture here as
That's a crucial element. They don't feel comfortable enough to be nasty because they know in the greater American landscape, they don't have the majority for it. They're different than Muslims in that case. You go look at somewhere like Dearborn, and they're violently taking over. They're smarter. They're more insidious. They're low-key about it.
Kosher stores move in, more Jews move here too, creating a positive feedback loop where a town rapidly becomes a Jewish hub, ultimately changing the character and identity of a town, and in Lakewood's case, overwhelming the infrastructure. Before we explore the many implications of life for Goyim as towns like Lakewood become increasingly Jewish, I want you to understand how quickly the word anti-Semitism gets weaponized in real time out here.
Tyler, you like to describe that anti-Semitism is lucrative, no?
Why do you think anything that you don't like to see is anti-Semitism? What have I said that's anti-Semitic?
Lucrative enough to get all his sponsors pulled and to get Patreon to shut him down.
Go.
When you talk about people accepting government money, and the overlay is a bunch of pictures of fraud, you're trying to twist it to make it look like we're doing fraud.
There were welfare programs that were defrauded by Jews. What did I say that was a lie?
There are welfare programs that are defrauded by Jews.
Yes, I made a Minneapolis video as well. I made several videos. Why are you being so sensitive?
What you're trying to make it sound is like anyone who accepts government money in the Jewish community is doing fraud.
That's your interpretation.
What you're doing is dangerous.
How is this dangerous? Why should you be treated like a protected group?
Dangerous. It's dangerous to expose fraud, and it's dangerous to expose communities where they turn a blind eye to each other's kind of corruption.
Asking for
It's dangerous.
special privileges.
No, we're not. We're asking just to be fair, and you're not being fair.
I am being fair.
This is going to make you a lot of money, and it's going to jump a lot of hatred towards the community that's seeing a rise in anti-Semitism that hasn't been seen in years. Every single day, our lives are at risk, and this is going to lead to more.
My sponsor literally got pulled out of the video once they learned the topic of that video. I lost the sponsorship. How is that lucrative? Tell me. So you say anti-Semitism, I say anti-Goyism. Listen, man, you got a kid in the car, I just noticed. Drive your kid home, get your groceries. You're getting honked at. Let's go. It was good to meet you, though.
So you're arguing with the United States, because the Saddam obviously thought that we should pay for their money, so why don't you move to a different country?
Why don't you move back to Israel then if there's so much anti-Semitism, right? Like that guy said. Why doesn't he go to Israel?
We are giving back, so
welfare is a good idea. It's sweet, right? At what point is it too far? Because this is a program designed to help single moms after they get divorced and keep the kid from starving.
I also disagree with you that someone doesn't have a right to have a child.
I think you should have a child if you can afford it, right?
Get her out real quick.
Sure. Let's hear it.
Okay. You two gentlemen, I saw a video of you walking into 136 Hillside. They asked not to come back.
Amazing.
If you come back, it'll be a trespassing charge. You're trespassing.
If you don't like the laws of America and you think that the government welfare is stupid or
I would like to change the laws. Just like you would like to create
Guy looked like a shithead thug that I would have dealt with in the army.
anti-Semitism protection laws that give you guys protected classes and protection against anti-Semitism, whatever that means, right? So why don't you go back to Israel? That would be my question.
Because I like it here.
Same here. I like it here, but I like to make some changes. We can both agree on that, right?
So please keep on moving.
God bless you. There we go. He loves us.
I know.
Yeah, you guys have group chats with me. You guys say, beware of this guy like I'm like Hitler or something. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm a nice guy. I talk to everyone.
Elon Musk has 12 kids. Why can't I have 12 kids?
He pays for them.
Your story point over here is that people can't have children if they can't afford them. You, as a society, are born from people,
You, as a society. You. Not we. You, as a society. Again, look at the language cues. Look at how they speak to people. Look how they're thinking about us. Us. Not we. Us.
people who started with two people. Two. Okay? Adam and Eve. That's it. You want to go with the...
I don't understand what any of this has to do with welfare and having 12 kids. Okay. In the beginning, God created Adam, Eve, after all the cosmos. Like, well, that wasn't America, though. That was the Garden of Eden.
Big Bang, but it started at some point. There was two people. And now there's billions. And there was trillions throughout the world. So you're saying if you can't have
what
kids...
does that have to do with anything? All of those people didn't have welfare. Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Did they have a government to pay for their kids?
We live in a government that decides that if you have children, we're going to help you. Now everyone does their part.
You should not have more kids than you can afford. You're arguing that I should pay for your kids. Okay. That's what you're arguing.
I'm not arguing that I should pay for kids.
You are.
Taxes should be optional, or you should be able to check boxes to have some sort of transparency as to where they go. I wouldn't pay taxes for these villages. I would ensure that they're paying their own bills, and I don't have anything to do with paying that.
I'm arguing at the government's end.
No, that's our money. I pay taxes. I shouldn't be funding your kids. Should not be funding your kids. You don't pay for my kids. Fuck, I could do this all day. Why don't you go?
No, you should go because you're stopping traffic. Guys, let's go. Move on.
He's stopping traffic, not me.
Yeah, right. No, you should move on. Nobody wants you here. Please move out.
He was saying, Tyler, he loves me.
So we're not allowed here?
Call. You want to come to the corner?
Where? Over there? Let's go move. Let's go.
You know, I know what she did in the video, and we all saw it, and we still see it. But it's like,
what did I get wrong?
Nobody can cross the government.
This
The
guy
government
looks like a
knows
low IQ
everything.
individual.
The United States federal government knows everything.
Not if you're fraudulently found.
No.
The federal government does not know everything. I can promise you that. As a, to be fair, low-ranking member, they could probably know anything they wanted to know, but they don't actively know everything. This guy, honestly, he looks like a Fox retard. He looks like a Fox News retard. And, yeah, just the look on his face, the way he's trying to make points. I mean, he's doing the whole thing. They all seem to do that, but he looks like a retard who just sits there and brain rots to Fox News.
It's not true. That if you feel that you live in a country that is corrupt,
I do.
Why are you still living here?
Well, not everyone has options, right?
I can give you a list of 15, 20 countries off the bat that you can live in.
Yeah, regardless, let's say America is corrupt, I still want to live here.
You understand?
Oh, but hold on. Just because there is corruption here, which there is.
There is no.
What are you talking about? Let's not be silly here.
If there would be corruption, the FBI would love to come here first than any other location in the world.
Come on, that's not true.
Well, I read the numbers in Minnesota.
22 people indicted for Medicaid fraud?
Numbers in Minnesota. And
they love to say Minnesota like they're not the same. They might not be the same skin tone. They might not be the same religion. But they love to throw out Minnesota as though that's not a prime example of what's going on in Muncie.
Listen, you can attack them as much as you want. What they did, that's big numbers, man.
Both of your schools had money laundering. You had people. Yes, both.
There's 45 schools here.
So BMG had people that were charged with money laundering, and so did the school for special.
As of when?
2019, 2018, 2017. Look it up. It's all over Google.
I don't look it up. You got to show it to me.
Come on.
95% of people in this vicinity, between this 4 or 5 zip codes, work very hard.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and dig in a place like here, Lakewood, where the same capital you're going to find in this small percentage.
You're making me want to dig now. You're making me want to look.
You're already digging, man. You're digging already for
I'm at Whole Foods.
4
What
months.
are you talking about? 4 months?
What do you mean? Go break your head. You can keep on breaking your head.
I will break my head.
No problem. Eventually, when you break your head too
Let's hear it.
much, you end up digging water. When you dig water, there's nothing under it.
You were in Jackson, which...
If you break your head too much, you dig water and there's nothing under it. You know, that guy's got a point. He's got a very good point. Look at that. How can you dispute the...
Just really like a continuation of Lakewood. And by the way, I don't know if you know how I toppled the government there. They had all these anti-Semitic laws. It was crazy. I had 2 conversations with...
Toppled the government. Get back to Israel. Why do we allow this guy to stay here? He's bragging about toppling governments. That's how he thinks about us. That's how he thinks about the nation that we're a part of. Why isn't he sent back to Israel? If you need to topple our government, go back to the one that we made for you.
the White House, and eventually DOJ got involved. But anyway, so I don't know, are you already doing your Lakewood thing?
I'm here with Dr. Richard Roberts. You sold the pharmaceutical company for $800 million. You were the vice chairman of the Israel Advisory Committee for Donald Trump in 2016.
Yes.
And you reached out to me. Why did you reach out to me via email?
It's a major L for Donald Trump. I wouldn't vote for him again with all that he's done for Israel. He's got, 3 more years? 2.5 more years? Something like that. Unless he totally disavows Israel, or at least majorly cuts back on what we do for them and how connected we are with them, I wouldn't vote for anybody again. Not to pull the name, but Asmongold's got a totally right take. I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Because you posted that, first of all, you did your video at Curious Yoel in New York, and got a lot of Orthodox Jews very, very upset.
But why did you reach out to me?
But towards the end of the video, you saw the altruism in the community, and you seem to respect that. And since I could see that you seem to me to have a sincere desire to actually get the real facts, because if you were just bigoted against us, you wouldn't be struck or commenting on the altruism in our community.
But you casually toppled the Jackson government. A, what does that mean? B, how did you get a relationship with the White House?
I never spoke to DOJ. I did speak to people in the White House twice to tell them what was going on, because...
Who in the White House?
I think I don't want to say.
First off, though, so you mentioned Jackson's a continuation of Lakewood. You toppled the governments. You went to the White House willy-nilly.
Called.
Okay. You're connected to the White House.
By the way, I rarely leave my...
Jackson is a continuation of Lakewood. You know why? Because they're turning it into a separate nation. it's again, you listen to their cues, you listen to the way they think by the way they speak. It's what comes out of a man that defiles his heart. And they're speaking as though they're creating micronations within the United States. It shouldn't be legal. And anybody that takes part in that should be jailed or deported, preferably deported.
House. Which just goes to show the scale of your connections, in my opinion. I hear this voicemail, I'm like, shiver me timbers, who am I dealing with a little bit here, right? Like, this guy's... Little old man. All right, And you might be wondering, why are mega wealthy Jewish power brokers connected to Donald Trump trying to set the record straight with a lowly goy tuber like myself? This all begs the question, why are they so afraid of me?
I think that they just don't want you to portray Lakewood in a bad way. That's really all it is.
Is there any bad to see?
There's bad to see everywhere. It's good to see everywhere.
Exactly. Good, bad, and the ugly everywhere, right?
100%. I used to live here in Lakewood when I was in 9th and 10th grade. I love Lakewood. There's so much Jewish life here. It's so easy to be Jewish, and everything's cheaper. It's amazing here.
Why did Lakewood become such a large Jewish hub?
So I think...
All right, so you're just honking. So afraid of me.
I think that they...
Like, connected to Don all begs...
In a bad way. That's really all...
It's cheaper because it's subsidized by the taxpayer.
All it is.
Is there any bad to see?
There's bad to see everywhere. It's good to see everywhere.
Exactly. Good, bad, and the ugly everywhere, right?
100%. I used to live here in Lakewood when I was in 9th and 10th grade. I love Lakewood. There's so much Jewish life here. It's so easy to be Jewish, and everything's cheaper. It's amazing here.
Why did Lakewood become such a large Jewish hub?
So I think it started with BMG, Beis Medrash Gavoa, and then you had a lot. You know BMG?
Yeah. Tell me more about BMG, though, right? I hear it's like the Harvard of yeshivas.
Yes, it's top-notch. You just sit and learn all day. You already finished your high school phase. Most people went to Israel already, came back, and they just sit and learn all the time. It's amazing. I used to do it when I was a teenager. Lakewood's an amazing place and everything, and I think I've seen your videos all over. I just think that people get nervous and stuff like that, but you're just coming here feeling...
If you look at his jacket, he's got something to lose. If he speaks against it, he's a fireman, or there might be EMS. He's got something to lose if he gives a negative opinion.
Filming the truth, and you're working just like we are. That's it. We're all in the same boat.
What should we know about Lakewood?
It's a great place. You're always welcome here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we've got, no, it's welcoming for the most part. A few guys are fired up. We try to give them the chance to speak, have a conversation. Do a little psst. What whisper did we miss?
Nothing. I gotta go now, but
I love it. To a T. A guy gets a whisper, then he goes quiet. Would you like to say anything? How you doing? Or with this guy whispering in his brethren's ears, he comes up when they're talkative and sweet, and he goes psst, 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 and then they stop.
They clamp down on the right to free speech. Why is that legal? How are you clamping down on somebody's right to speak to somebody else? Granted, okay, I guess he's not infringing a right. He's just heavily recommending it. But to have that kind of behavior in our own borders is disgusting. Is vile.
Talking. It is miraculous. Tyler, good to meet you. What's your name?
If I say something good, you're gonna put it on?
Let's go. We just met up with the guy. He was like pissed off that we like come around here and explore. This guy's killing me, dude. The psst, psst. He's treating you like a child.
So the whole world's gonna laugh so nice. I know.
This is pathetic. He's treating you like a child. Who is this guy?
Why are you guys being told what to say?
Let the man speak. Okay, does that not look like suspicious activity?
Why is there so much secrecy if you have nothing to hide?
Why would he do that? He's the head whisperer. All right, tell me what you're going to say.
How much money everyone makes in this town? Crazy amount.
What?
From the taxpayer.
The police is also going to follow us, just FYI.
Going to follow us.
There's a police special response unit, and the cops had their internal monologue that they're going to just trail us around.
Amazing. So given that the cops are being called so often, they're just going to follow us around all day. Land of the free, home of the brave. And then I stumbled upon a kosher collision. Another example of Lakewood's infamously terrible driving. We were just showing how densely trafficked it is out here, how much traffic there is. We wanted to show some of the driving differences out here.
I don't think you're saying a fair statement. This has nothing to do with dense driving.
Oh, what does it have to do with bad driving skills or snow?
It was totally because of the snow.
Fair.
The road is dry.
That's fair.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. There were actually no one on the road.
There's no negative points to it being hard to drive because it's densely populated. I live in the middle of nowhere because I moved from Nashville, Tennessee, and I've lived in cities for the last probably decade of my life. I wanted to live in the middle of nowhere. I drive in before the sun rises up to go to school, to go to work, because I don't like dealing with heavy traffic. There is nothing wrong or about it being hard to drive in dense traffic. They are so overly defensive because why? It's a major red flag, even if there's nothing going on. Being that defensive is such a red flag.
Totally fair, okay? You need help getting pushed? Alright, alright.
Why are you making up a story? Because you need a documentary. There was not one car in sight by accident.
Oh, you just hit the wall.
That's it.
You didn't hit anyone?
No.
Do you need help getting pushed? Okay, we're gonna get out of here. Oh, you're good. Better than anyone else.
You need a job.
I agree.
You need a job?
No, I mean, I'm employed. I employ a lot of people, actually.
You make money for doing nothing.
For doing nothing? Do you think moving capital and charging interest is something more valuable than I do, or what?
What? I think you should write a...
Damn. You know what's crazy though? They can't charge interest to their own people. Which, it's brilliant. I think we should be more like that. But for some reason, interest is allowed to be charged, but you're literally creating debt out of nothing, which it's a whole nother video I could show you. I had to watch it when I was first starting college and doing an economics class, and it explains money mechanics, and it's ridiculous the way debt is created. And then listen to him. He's trying to put down his job. You're doing nothing. No, bro. You're saying he's doing nothing because you know that he's doing something. You know that once there's a light shown on your cockroachery, that people are actually going to want to see it and do something about it. Which, I don't even know if that's true. Nothing is really happening with the Somalis in Minnesota. So, like, if you just let the light get shown and then just let it pass by, chances are nothing's going to happen anyway. But just roll with the punches. If you guys are as untouchable as you think you are, you should be fine anyway.
Tell me.
Hundreds of thousands of people that do...
The moving capital and charging interest thing was crazy, though, because that's a very real thing. Why are they allowed to touch our economy if they're going to create debt out of nothing and steal it from really the poorest of the poor who don't understand what's going on? Because if you have a modicum of understanding, you can watch a video and understand, oh wait, they really are pulling percentages out of nothing and stealing debt away from people to keep them locked in debt. So, and most people are stupid, let's be real, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but most people don't understand either. They don't have the time or capability of understanding what's going on. So by charging interest, which they can't do to themselves, they're keeping other people, other cultures, other groups locked in cycles of debt so that they continue to profit while they're taking money from the government while we're supplying their other country with money, and they see themselves as a foreign nation. It's insane to think about.
Favors to people every day.
Tell me more.
Open up a book. You never saw so many charity organizations as you have here in Lake.
I know there's so many 501c3s. It makes me wonder. Are they all charitable? Are they fiending for tax exemptions? You know, would you say this is a great place to move to for a young family? If I have a kid or a young wife? Okay. Not just the Jews.
My best friends are going.
Okay, respect. What do we have here? We have a... Hey, it's good to meet you.
You see that?
I saw it. What is the name of that organization once again? Hatzola. Okay, good to meet you, man. See you later. And we have Hatzola up here to help the community. Yeah, this guy doesn't even know what the First Amendment is. Don't be a joker, bro. Come on. Yes. Come over here. Come over here. All right. I need to get you like a second number zone. What's your Instagram? You got Facebook?
No, I don't.
Look at these hundreds. My phone number's been leaked.
You're a little child. Give me a number. I promise you.
Why are you insulting?
I'm not insulting.
You just insulted. Come on, I'm a little child.
Give me a number. I promise you I'll make it worth it for you.
All right, look, give me your email. Give me your email. Give me your email.
732. Give me my number.
All right, hold on. And what was your first name?
Moshe.
We're gonna do some big stuff.
You're afraid, I think.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh man, these guys are next level. I feel like I got dropped off on an alien planet. And you might be wondering, what is Hatzola and how are they able to blast through red lights like that? It's like a community watch, but they think they are cops. If you notice,
well, if they act a certain way and they're not disciplined for it, it's true. It's not that they think they are. They are. Nobody's telling them no.
They had their lights on and they just ran a red light, just like a police officer would do. No uniform. Right. They had the Jewish uniform on, white pants and the curls.
Jew in a police car is what it looked like, but he's not a police officer, and he's blasting through the lights like he is a cop. There's a Hatzola billboard right there, Mike. And what is that for?
I mean, you're asking me questions. I don't know if I have the answers to why. Because once again, because there's competing Hezbollah. You have competing groups of these.
Of a non-profit volunteer emergency service?
Yes. It sounds.
Don't get me twisted. It's a great idea. I wish every community could have their own non-profit volunteer emergency services to support and help out the cops and the EMS and the firefighters around. And that is actually, I think, a positive thing, something good to be said about these communities. And it's a self-report on the outer nation, the United States, that we don't have more of that. I wish we had more stuff like that. But in an age of Protestantism, now this is a whole other thing, where there's 50,000 denominations, it's really hard to get united under one banner where they have orthodoxy.
Sounds like a business, right?
But literally every organization out here is a tax-exempt 501c3. If you dig through the filing, go on ProPublica.com, you'll be surprised to realize everything basically is a tax-exempt 501c3.
Yes, because it's all through the religions.
What are your concerns? Why are we interviewing you?
So, I think I echo the concerns of many non-religious people in my area. And the biggest concern is how one group of people gets to act that is...
Imagine a church tried to do that. Imagine a church started a bunch of businesses and then just made them all religious so they can't be taxed. It would get shut down so quick.
Separate, segregated from everybody else.
And that group being Jews.
Yeah, yes, Jews, exactly, yeah, 100%. But you know what, it's in my area, it's Jews. In other areas, like you obviously see the Somalian, right? In Minnesota, there's things that are happening all over the area. But yes, in my particular area, it is Jews. And it's Jews that are expanding their territory.
Okay, so my name is Jenna Galarza. I've lived in Jackson for approximately 23 years. I want to say it really started affecting me when I had my children. I have twins, they're 20 now. In assimilation perspective, you want to be able to teach your children how to talk to other children and, be part of other cultures. And that was when it really started hitting me.
What hit you?
Let's say if I would go to a store which was closer to Lakewood, I'm pushing a double stroller, I have twins. And I noticed that nobody would hold the door open for you. At one point, a door literally got slammed on my twin stroller. And I was just like, whoa. At that point, there wasn't a lot of Orthodox living in Jackson, but they were coming to our parks a lot. And they would come to the parks, busloads, vans full. And the park would just get turned upside down. I mean, we're talking about diapers being changed anywhere and being thrown on the floor. We're talking about children literally urinating in public and absolutely.
Why aren't they subjected to CPS and other local laws and ordinances? Why aren't these people being charged with citations? Why aren't they paying for it? And I get that this is probably a nationwide problem. You go to any city and you see, disgusting, gross parks. It was like that in Clarksville when I was living there. But there shouldn't be a separate set of rules.
Absolutely not interacting with your children. So listen, at that time, if it was a minion, there was 10 men, not a big deal. But then you started to notice that it was no longer just 10 people. It was 20 people and 30 people. Just completely changing the feel, the character, the comfort that you once had in your neighborhood is no longer there.
And another source of conflict is the Jewish community using residential homes as places of worship, often without approval from the Jackson Planning Board, bringing in tons of outside traffic and destroying the peaceful quality of the neighborhood.
Remember that pussy thug with the hand tattoos who said that, who came up to him, "Oh, you're gonna get a trespass." Why aren't they down there ticketing each and every one of those cars? And if they would, I'm sure this fucking jerk, excuse me, this lawyer would be there fighting their tickets for them.
Can't have even where we.
You could fund the public schools off of the amount of tickets that you would be able to put out on those.
If you work in an office and there's 10 Jewish men there, you can just take a conference room for 10 minutes. We don't need like a formal like church. I've prayed in parking lots with, we're going somewhere and there's get other guys together.
But if you're living in a residential neighborhood and this house becomes like a revolving door of people coming in and praying constantly, parking their cars, I imagine there's some quality of life concerns, right? Increase in traffic and the streets being covered with cars and people all over the place, or what?
I don't think that's what really happened, but maybe on like the Sabbath. But you'll have any Semites will probably say that.
So dishonest.
Because they don't like us. They don't want us.
This home used to be probably about 1,100 square feet. It does have a new owner.
Okay.
Apparently, they did get permits to expand on their house. Most of the permits are just, kind of just given. Nothing is really followed through.
Okay.
This home will be being used for a full-out temple.
Temple.
Yeah. Well, that means that they're going to be praying in this home several times a day, probably staying over on Friday nights until Saturdays. As you could see, there's no parking lot here. This is going to affect every person that lives here. And the other problem that I have with this, and that I think should be looked into, is there's definitely funding going to these places.
If I was a concerned neighbor and I said, hey, they're building a temple, what the hell? What might happen next?
You would probably be called an anti-Semite. They will make your life miserable.
That shouldn't wield as much power as it does, and within 10 years it won't wield as much power as it currently does.
Nobody wants to live
Thank God.
across the street to a synagogue. It is a tactic of getting people to sell their homes, and they will have buyers for them.
And you see this, and then you watch buildings get built before they're approved. They build and ask permission later, and then if they even don't get permission, they sue and they win for permission. So when you have all these things where they're creating hatred, they create the double standard, they create the animosity between two groups. And when I say they, I mean governments and people that buy off politicians to make favorable laws, because a lot of the shit they do is legal.
UPenn and PBA should hand Nixon a resignation. He's a double-sided politician. He's trying to racially profile the Jewish community in Jackson, infuse hate and division among Jackson's residents, and enact illegal laws to curb the growth of the Jackson Jewish community. He doesn't represent American values and is bankrupting the Jackson Township. No. And again, this is, it's propaganda, so it's going to say what they want to say, but you guys don't represent American values. You guys don't represent unity. You guys don't represent everybody living under the same standard. You guys take full advantage of religious freedom, which is a thing I'll be discussing on stream tonight. Not just for them, but I think the First Amendment needs a total do-over. And you guys want him out because he doesn't fall in line with his overlords.
Because they bought the politicians to make it legal. Do you think residents in Jackson who do not want Jackson to be majority Jewish or to look, feel, and sound like Lakewood, do you think that is anti-Semitic?
Well, people have a right to freedom of speech and freedom of their opinion, even if they're going to be bigoted.
Do you think that's bigoted, though, right? Because I imagine you don't want this place to be Islamic.
Only because the radical Islamists want to kill us. Other than that, I have no problem.
Tyler said Islamic, not radical Islamic, which, again, I mean, what's the chicken or the egg in that situation? But, radical Islamics want to kill us.
And they're radical Jews and they're radical Christians.
Which Orthodox Jews are radical Jews that want to hurt people?
Many people could argue there are distinct sects of Judaism that are marginal.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, you wouldn't want Lakewood to become predominantly Muslim. Radicalism aside, though, right?
Right.
Just like Jackson residents don't want it to be predominantly Jewish.
So if a Muslim wants to buy a house here and pay way more than what the house would sell outside our community because of the fact that the prices go up.
My grandmother, way back when, probably in like the 70s, no, probably like the 90s, she sold her home in New Jersey, because that's where my family was living at the time, to move up to Connecticut, which is where I'm from. And she didn't want to sell it to a black family because it was a predominantly white neighborhood. And she got sued for that. Why are the Orthodox Jews allowed to price gouge if they don't want to sell it to a certain kind of person? if that's something a regular American would get in trouble for.
We come in, they're free to do it. And now,
Yeah, but I just don't think it's bigoted for you to not want it to be predominantly Muslim. Why would you? You're Jewish.
So Jackson Strong is kind of like a unofficial organization that I had started. When I saw everything turning, I just was very vocal on social media, and I decided to organize. Certain people really wanted to get involved. There were a few of us that, we would have letter writing campaigns, making a lot of calls to county officials, local officials, and state officials, trying to find out what ordinances could be created, what we could do to help prevent a full-out turnover. A sign would say, Jackson Strong, don't sell, meaning if a new neighbor moves in next to you, don't run, don't sell. Why would you move? Stay strong, right?
Would they sell?
They would sell because it just got too much. And anytime you would say anything about it, you were anti-Semitic. I mean, there were Facebook pages created just to slander me. They would manipulate pictures of me. They would put, Russian hats on me, a Hitler mustache. These were things that were even coming out of Israel at one point.
But that's not hate speech. It's not slander. It's not libel. But it's bad. Anti-Semitism is bad. Can't be doing that.
Point there was a post where somebody had said that she needs to have an ice pick in her eye, and something like that. I did go to the prosecutor's office, and my Jackson Strong page was taken down for no good reason at all. It was just taken down. There was a page, Rise Up Ocean County, which was a pretty important part of everything that was happening. That page was taken down also. However, it was hijacked. So when our page was taken down, just for stating the facts, when you're bringing out the Kaporis incidents, when they're cutting the necks of the chickens and blood is pouring through the streets, and then you're talking about that and you're posting videos, and all of a sudden your Facebook page gets taken down, only to be replaced with a complete
Hey, that Rupert Lowe guy, he's got it right. Not allowing halal or kosher slaughter if he gets elected in Britain. That's the kind of stuff we need to be up to. We need to not be allowing them to... It's disgusting. You guys, your temple was destroyed. You're done doing sacrifices. Stop cutting the heads of chickens off, especially on American soil. Go take Aliyah. Go to Israel. Go celebrate there, where it's culturally accepted and expected. Stop doing that shit here. Stuff here.
Goyim harassment page, and you could report that page over and over, and you could have a campaign of people reporting that page, yet that page remained up.
Do you want Lakewood to be predominantly Muslim? Just you personally?
No.
And why?
Because it's a...
Let's say they don't want to kill you.
I'm fine with people moving in, but to have Jewish schools, we have to have a critical mass of Jews here to support Jewish schools. To have kosher grocery stores, supermarkets, we have to have a critical mass of Orthodox Jews here to support kosher supermarkets. By the way,
so using that logic, why would anyone in Jackson want Jackson to have more and more Jews move? If you're arguing there needs to be a critical mass for...
How are we infringing on their right, on their ability to do whatever they want?
I'm not saying you are, but why would they want that? Why would it be bigoted?
They don't have to want or not want. If somebody's selling their house to an Orthodox Jew, the Orthodox Jew is allowed to buy the house.
Sure, but I'm talking about the people who are not selling their houses to Orthodox Jews.
Then they have the right to do that.
Of course. But that doesn't make them a bigot to not want it. It doesn't mean they're hateful. It doesn't mean they hate you.
What is it of their lifestyle that we're going to change?
All right, so we could start with the traffic. Infrastructure-wise, they're just throwing up these ginormous structures. They tend to have basement apartments also, so they'll rent those out. Right now, there is probably upwards 2,000 to 3,000 homes that have been bought and are just being rented out right now by the Orthodox community, that they will move in when they're ready to move into them. There's been a problem with light pollution. Now we're seeing just LED lights everywhere. There's a lot of issues. And then let's just talk about the thing that breaks my heart more than anything, which is the school system. So what's happening is our Board of Education is going bankrupt. Between the formula and the state giving all of the money to the poorer communities, which has been proven to not work, we're losing that kind of funding, but we're being depleted from...
Whole separate topic. But yeah. The weak, though they don't know it, need the strong in order to prosper, because under strong leadership, where they have the guts and the balls to handle money properly, the weak can prosper as well. But when you start handing out the money to the weak, they just... because they can't control themselves.
The busing, we are required by state law to provide busing to all of the private school students. Why are we paying for busing for schools that are not teaching a standard curriculum? If 80% or 90% of their curriculum is religious studies, why are the taxpayers paying for that busing? And then to add insult to injury, we have recently sold 2 of our schools, and they have been bought by the Orthodox community.
Who are you, Chris?
I am a councilman in Jackson, New Jersey.
And what are we in front of right now?
We're in front of the former Sylvia Rosenauer School. The school was unfortunately shut down due to budget issues in Jackson. It was purchased by a private school.
Okay, so this is a private Jewish-only school right now?
Yes. As the state cuts our funding, we continue spending more and more public money on private schools. And
this guy's a hero for what he's doing. What he's doing is hard. What he's doing will have irreconcilable repercussions on his life. Yet he's here to stand up for his community. Well, like we saw in the intro, I mean, he's doing it out of a religious pursuit. He's a follower of Christ. This land was given to us by God, like I said before, and he's standing up for it because he knows that's his Christian duty. This guy's a hero.
And it's kind of creating the perfect storm that's destroying our public education system.
So all of the school systems are completely strained by the influence of the Jewish non-students. They don't even use the public school system, but yet it costs the public school system a lot of money.
We Orthodox Jews, we pay the full school taxes to support the public schools and for busing. And the only thing that we get to use is busing.
You take Jackson Township, their pass-through budget was nothing in like 2017. What pass-through laws are, the federal state laws where it says that the school system has to pay for the busing of private school students. The more people that moved into Jackson, they go to school in Lakewood. So now Jackson has to bus their kids to Lakewood. Now they don't bus non-Jewish students. They have segregated busing. So you have girls bus, boys bus. It costs the towns millions and millions of dollars, while at the same time, it decreases the enrollment that they have. So when the enrollment decreased, couple that with a really shit school funding formula in New Jersey, the towns spend way more money and they get way less in return.
And now, in a modern day and time, who thinks it's okay to separate boys and girls? Not allowing them to be together, not allowing them to go to school together, be on the same bus. And because of a religious practice, you're forcing the public to pay extra money for things like that.
We have to send...
That should come out entirely out of their pockets. Because it's ridiculous. I mean, if they need something special for themselves, they should be paying for it. That is not a religious freedom. You're free to be an Orthodox Jew. You shouldn't be free to rape the taxpayer because you need to comply to your own mythical standards.
Our children to religious schools because of the values that are taught in the secular schools. If there are population changes, schools consolidate. We're not the first place that's happened, nor the last place.
The Jewish community is extremely racist. Could you imagine if I said that my children could not play with somebody's children because they were black? What a different conversation we would be having. Why is it okay?
We only eat kosher food. If our kids play in a non-religious Jew's home, they might be given non-kosher food to eat. Also, we generally don't have televisions in our home and don't want to bring the secular values of homosexuality.
They will push this on the nation. If you've read the Epstein files, transgender ideology was established and spread around because of an Epstein-driven project, because he wanted to have his femboys and mask women, and they will push this filth on our nation, and then they'll recede into their own little communities where they don't have to be touched by it, where they don't have to engage to it. Why? Because we're goyim. Everybody should be the same. Everybody should. Why do you think race mixing is so important? Why do you think they think race mixing is so important for us, but won't engage in it? They want to destroy our national identities, and this is something that they've experienced throughout history. If you read the Old Testament, throughout Kings, Chronicles, throughout the Jewish monarchy, or throughout the Israelite monarchy, they were sent into exile where they almost lost their identities. So they realized if they can crush the identities of the nations that they live in, there's little to no resistance for them to have these little communities where these little separate nations within nations. And it works. Clearly it works. And they'll push this on us, and then they'll recede, and then wait for us to crumble under our own weight. And then they'll swoop in and proliferate.
Of adultery, theft, of cursing, and go on and on. We don't want to bring this into our society. The Orthodox Jews
Yeah, you can go on and on because everything negative is for the Goyim and not for you, right?
Are paying full property tax, which is how the schools are funded, and we don't get the benefit of the school building, the school teachers. So we have to also pay for our private education. So they're getting our money and we're getting nothing for it.
Your funding is going to go down. You're going to have to make cuts. You're going to have to keep closing schools. They just shut down another big school, which is going to be converted into, it might be one of the world's largest yeshivas right here in town. Let's be real. New Jersey State is essentially a criminal organization because everything they do is for some type of special interest, for somebody to benefit somehow.
They take a house, they get that house built for a public mikveh only for Jewish people, right? So they say it's for the public, but it's not. It's just for a select private group of people. The house is now a 501c religious organization.
The mikveh is a ritual purity bath where they go in where if they're ritually unclean, if they're ceremonially unclean, they'll go in there, purify themselves so they can participate in temple worship. Okay, yeah, you can say anybody's going to use it. Anybody can use it, but why would anybody? I guarantee they start treating it like a swimming pool. There's going to be some raised eyebrows.
So it doesn't pay taxes, so the town loses the tax money. Yep. And then, like in this case, that mikveh was being built before it was even approved, so everyone sees that.
This is going to be a mikvah, which is a religious bathhouse.
Where women get purified.
Correct.
After their periods?
Yes, and it prepares them for their childbearing time.
Sex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's little things like this when they get in an area.
It's more than that, but that is one of them.
They put what they need, their special needs. It doesn't benefit the community, anything that they put. It benefits only them.
So this is a house of worship, a shul. This has been operating now probably for about 6 or 7 years. This is one of the ones that we first realized was non-owner occupied. Now, meaning that you have a better chance of not having issues if you live in the home and you have prayer, but nobody was living in this home. Generally you should have to get the proper permits and everything, but our town has been very accommodating for bad behavior. As you could see, they did install a light.
Nowhere should be accommodating, and I mean that even to Christians, even to Baptist, Catholics, wherever you're going to throw me, Catholic Baptist. Nobody should be accommodating. No, there should be rules for everybody, and the rules should be followed by everybody. It's the only way you can have a disciplined society with good order.
For them here, so they could safely pull in and out and cross the street.
And that's a symptom of the increased traffic into this location, right? A light just for this house.
Correct. Just for this is zone residential.
As I told you, we have to be together for schools, for synagogues, for kosher food. So you're gonna start buying the next block over. That happens to be Jackson and Tom's River. Now it's going into Howell because we're having lots of children, and thank God we're having lots of children. Thank God almost all of them stay religious, get married early, and having children, and the community is just growing and growing. So in Jackson, while
you make it miserable and unaffordable for all the other people that aren't Orthodox Jewish, so it's hard for them to have kids. They're too stressed to have kids, and they won't reproduce as much as you.
Passed regulations against Orthodox Jews. And not only that, they were harassing us. Let me give you an example. We pray 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. So Jackson, they were very unprofessional, very amateurish. So they had their code enforcement department counting the number of Jews on the street, and they left the emails on.
Notice how he used the adjective amateurish, because they don't know what they're doing. They're not used to having to play these games, so they're not professional about it. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to handle this kind of issue because they're amateurs at having to corral populations, which is something we shouldn't have to do, but clearly have to do.
Their Jackson Township email system. So when litigation ensued, it came out in discovery. So they say, I see 3 men wearing the garb, carrying Bibles, going into this house. And the inspectors would actually go onto the property and peer into the window to see if we were praying.
Okay, so the house was zoned residentially, and it is being used as a house of worship?
No, you can just go in there. The guy owns the house. You can just go in there and pray. We do it all the time.
He just dodged the question like Mr. Smith in The Matrix.
Just like, when I have the Super Bowl here, I have 50 people here.
In contrast to the Super Bowl, how often does this congregation happen per year? Is it every week?
Oh no, we pray 3 times a day. No.
3 times a day versus once a year, though, right? That's an important distinction.
Oh, but I'm just saying, but every week they get during football season, get people over watching football, and they get 30 people in the house watching football, right? Anybody in America can do that, and they're not cited for a violation.
You don't think they would have been treated the same if it were a mosque or a church?
There are Christian groups that they were not harassed like we were.
So you guys were singled out, in your opinion?
Yeah, for sure.
What happened in Jackson?
He says they weren't singled out like they were. Offers zero proof. Not a single. All the people throughout this have been, Tyler Oliviera and the people that he's been with while he's been in the city that are non-Jewish. They can bring up articles. They can bring up headlines that show the fraud, all the cases against these people. That guy says Christian groups were not targeted like that, or we're not targeted like that. Can't even mention a single one.
Anti-Semitic laws is he referring to in his opinion? So it's everybody is reacting in their own way, zoning law-wise, to try.
Brick sues Orthodox Jewish boys' school that opened without planner's approval. See? There's proof. Proof is good. Proof means there's concrete evidence.
Try to fight what they do. And what that is like buying corner lots that are unbuildable, using our LUPA laws to build on them. So what happened was there was a little bit of a rush to stop Lakewood. I would say about 2010-ish, where you saw different towns making different zoning laws. Brick did its own little thing, tightened up zoning laws. And
Township wants a judge to issue an injunction barring Congregation Kehilos Yisrael from operating the school until it secures site plan approval from the Township Planning Board and building permits from the construct officer for interior alterations that have already begun. Reasonable.
Certain areas. And they did it in a way where it wasn't pointing out one religion. Jackson kind of did it in a way where they did point out one religion. But
silly.
What does that mean? So it's like they tried stopping the shoals in the middle of the houses. But what they did was they worded it and they said things as they were doing. Like the people on the boards were saying stupid shit during the discussion that were anti-Semitic, basically to give them fuel to come in and say, you guys are making anti-Semitic laws. Okay? It wasn't that
amateurish.
Necessarily what they were trying to do is how they were trying to do it. Now the council president up there, Mordecai Bernstein, who was a part of it. You have that guy, Richie Roberts. They got the DOJ to do an investigation. They sued under our LUPA, and they had the DOJ do an investigation.
That must be our LUPA, Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act of 2000. Protect individuals, houses of worship, and other religious institutions from discriminating in zoning and landmarking laws. It's not discrimination, it's just the law. Institutionalized persons provisions, please refer to
him. They hammered Jackson. So now it's like Jackson is castrated and cannot even fight it anymore because they got told by the federal government and the state government they get to do whatever the hell they want.
I don't understand why the state government supports that. It's disgusting. You're telling a township that they have to allow people to essentially break the law. I mean, whether it's a corner lot, whatever, what have you, whether you think it's dumb or not, it's still the law for that area. And you go, feds, please protect us. What? The federal government shouldn't have a say in what's going on in that single town when it comes to their zoning laws. That makes no sense.
So now that's why you're seeing the synagogues going up in single family or multiple family, big houses, $800,000, $900,000 houses. We lost a lawsuit on this property that was too small of a property on the buildable lot. The people that came out to that meeting made this type of comment. This was deemed anti-Semitic. This is a family neighborhood. We like to keep it a family neighborhood. Anti-Semitic. This is what the judge, quote, cited as anti-Semitic. Are you going to be renting this house or are you going to be living in it? Anti-Semitic. What type of family would want to live on this type of lot? Anti-Semitic. That's how petty it gets.
I would love to see the name of the judge.
Beginning 10 years ago, they called you an anti-Semite for outlining all of these points. Were you wrong?
I was right. There are plenty of county roads in Jackson. Nobody's saying that you cannot put your house of worship on those county roads where you could put a proper parking lot and you could have proper traffic. So why are we dealing with houses of worship within walking distance that could be on main roads? Air roofs are up. Why instead are we putting them smack in the middle of residential areas, because it's another way to get people out of there. It's another way to create a complete religious enclave.
And this all begs the question, does the Jewish community living in peace come at a direct cost of the non-Jews also trying to live in peace? Can the two groups get along? I toured a mostly all-Jew neighborhood in Lakewood to understand Jennifer's frustration a bit more and what she sees as Jackson's seemingly unavoidable future. Where are we at, Jenna?
We are in Westgate, aka Kosher West, aka the Little Tykes Graveyard.
I'm noticing lots of toys on the lawn, car seat that may not be getting used, tons of minivans, many children, many families, full trash cans, abandoned vehicles, a lot going on here.
Correct. This is on the border of Jackson.
If they're going to behave like animals, why aren't they treated like animals? I mean, it's fine to have a ton of kids. It's fine to have like a little bit of a messy yard, but you're treating it like it's not America. You're treating it like there's no laws. I mean, and again, if there's no enforcement, then there is no law. So it just begs the question, why are the police not enforcing? If there's no law to enforce, why is there no law to enforce? I would like to see the donorship going to the police and to the local law enforcement committees and the local lawmaking communities. Because, of course, there's, like the guy said, New Jersey has so many special interest groups. So, there's special interest money in preventing the enforcement of this stuff. But why? It's American soil. Why are you not treating it like American soil? Why are these people not being cited, fined, and potentially having their kids taken away for living like this?
And unfortunately, I see this as being Jackson's future if we don't get a hold of things.
Let's go for a walk. How large are the families out here?
Again,
it looks like a ghetto ass apartment, but it looks like a ghetto apartment, but in a residential neighborhood. Like that's the kind of stuff I would see living in different parts of cities. Is this kind of behavior? But they treat us like we're less than.
Anywhere from 6 to 12 children.
This is all Orthodox Jews for the most part?
This is predominantly, probably 99.9% religious.
Could I buy a home here?
I don't believe you could.
Obviously, legally, according to the Fair Housing Act, it's illegal for them to discriminate against me, but practically speaking, could I buy a home?
No.
Okay.
This community is allowed to police themselves. They're allowed to do what they want to do. Rules don't apply. Yeah.
Guarantee the city still comes and picks up the trash. Guarantee the city still plows the roads, salts the roads, but they're allowed to police themselves.
Trash can.
Why? That's awful. Why?
And we have a problem now in Jackson with rats, which we've never had before. It's definitely a concern. It's a complete religious enclave, yes.
And this bus right here is paid for by a Lakewood taxpayer, correct?
Correct.
We're walking. We're trying to walk. You got it. Yes. Call the cops.
Here, it's strictly about religion. Nothing else. All these men going to yeshiva.
That guy went nuclear immediately. I have to call the cops. Okay, then call the cops.
Until they're 35 years old. They're not producing college students. They're not producing people that are going to go and benefit the greater good of our society.
It's sort of an investment in a insulated, one-way economy.
Correct. Without anybody contributing.
How are you? We're filming a little documentary. Yeah, for YouTube. Would you like to say hi?
I actually recognize your face.
I'm infamous. That's me. Yes. It's good to meet you. How are you?
I actually can't shake hands.
I see.
I'm sorry.
No worries. It's good to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just walking around talking.
Cool. Well, I hope it's interesting.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Like, not everybody's the same.
This is true. I'm noticing a strong spectrum here of even orthodoxy, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta say, very refreshing. Sweet
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Good hi. Good luck.
That's the funny
nice.
thing.
Nice, yeah.
That's the funny thing about it. I mean, a lot of the women are very nice and very welcoming.
Yeah.
And you can have a conversation with them, but at the end of the day, they can't be your friend.
No parking. Look at that.
They don't want to live
No
amongst
risk of a
us.
ticket
They don't
either.
want to live with us. They just want to live and exist and not have us be part of their lives. We've had people stand up at our council meeting in Jackson and say, I'm sorry, we cannot let our children play with your children.
For the Orthodox community, the reason that we choose sometimes to live with ourselves is because we are, as a culture, very careful with the influences our children have.
It's an American culture here. If anything, it should be a Christian culture here. Your Orthodox Jewish culture should be over in Israel.
Children don't know
And I'm hard about that one. I will stand on that one.
about, they don't have any access to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, any of these things. And part of that safety is that after
There's nations for that. We set you up a government in the 40s.
school, all of us as neighbors share those same values and rules and restrictions.
It's about unity. It's about assimilation. It's about, the American culture, and that's what we're losing.
Can the Jews and the Gentiles get along?
Absolutely. We don't have...
You're calling for unity.
Absolutely. I also understand that this is their way of thinking. This is how they were trained. This is how they were brought up.
We're happy for them to stay. We don't push them out. We had a neighbor.
Them. Again, listen to how he's speaking. We're happy for them to stay in our territory. We're not happy to live together. We're not happy to... And again, I know pluralism doesn't work. I know that it's impossible to force two different groups of people to live together. We essentially have a two-nation system in America with the rural areas, the cities, urban populations, rural populations. And then we've got agitators like this. We're happy for them to stay. It's not your place to say that they're them and you're the people that belong there. It's not. You have a country where you can go live. You're literally in the process, especially with the war on Iran right now. You're in the process of extending your borders. Why aren't you over there helping them?
Wheeler right across the street over one house. We were sorry to see them go. Is it bad that you have a house that's worth $300,000 and someone says, "I really want to live in this neighborhood. I'll give you $600,000 for it"?
I think it's great if you're trying to sell your house.
Okay, and if he doesn't have to. Like this woman, she didn't have to sell her house.
Yeah, I think there's an argument in some instances of people who have claimed that they've been pressured, harassed, or intimidated to sell their house.
So it's not intimidation. It only could be that too many people are knocking on
You're not allowed to define what intimidation is to somebody. You're just not.
their door.
Unless there's a legal definition, but even that's retarded. I mean, if somebody feels intimidated, you're not going to be able to tell them, "Oh, you're not intimidated."
Asking, do you want to sell your house?
Okay, so there's blockbusting. That's when they approach you to sell your house, which is a level of harassment. There's intimidation, telling you that, your decorations are not Yiddish, or approaching you and asking you, when are you moving? You could have a child who's 4 or 5 years old, being your neighbor, and you could be very nice to that child, and one day they will just come out and say to you, when are you leaving? Well, that's learned behavior. They're hearing that, right?
There's rows of housing. You saw it yesterday. 4, 5, 6 cars per place. Tight, super tight houses.
The few people that I've spoken to, a lot of it stems from fear and their loss of their way of life, right? I don't think it stems from hatred, from what I've heard.
So some hated and some feared a change in their in their neighborhood. These people are moving in that don't look like them, that seem different, and I can understand it, but they
are different. Treat them differently. I'm not saying treat the Jews differently, but the Jews treat them differently because they are different. It's okay to not want different in your neighborhood.
Was about discrimination, and people bought homes legally because the non-Jews that lived there made a lot of money off the Jews in selling the home.
Well, look at, Little Italy, and look at Chinatown and New York, and how come it was okay for them to live amongst themselves? The key there is assimilation. Their children went to public schools. They worked in the public sector. They invited anybody who wanted to come into their community. They provided for them in their community. Huge difference there. This is not a welcoming community. This is not somebody who's saying, we're going to build this show. Come on in. We want to teach you a little bit about our religion and our beliefs, but we want to involve you in it. And this has been a topic that I have brought up at several council meetings when there have been times when there's been a project or something that they wanted to approve, and we were trying to kind of, bring it to people's attention that this project is not going to benefit the community as a greater good. The Jewish community is extremely racist, and I would go as far to say as the Jackson government should be ashamed of themselves.
Beautiful traffic in there. What?
Welcome.
Is that a strategic honk?
I think so.
I'm not sure what the strategy there was. Who's he honking at now? Gotta say hi. Hello! Alright, so he's just honking. I'm not sure what the strategy is. How are you? I came down and waved and said hi. We're going to see how long he's just going to remain honking. How are you doing?
In any other community, he would be pulled over and potentially arrested for public disturbance, breaching the peace. I know because I used to have a lot of fun with my friends when I lived in Clarksville when I was in the Army. We would be nuisances to each other, and we would just like lay on the horn at each other. And the cops should be coming up to this guy and asking him what he's doing. But when they have him in their pockets,
He's going to break his horn. This guy does have a cheeky sense of humor, which I can appreciate. That honk was promised to him. See one on his face. I think I'm going to sue. His kids in there is doing that? What? Man, I think this guy actually might be mentally challenged, so we're going to give him a break. So listen, we can talk all the niceties we want. There is hostility.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? That's not going to happen walking down our streets.
But as we were trying to escape and rest our ears from the Jews honking at us from all directions, I spotted these dudes tracking us. Turns out I had summoned the Shamrim Police, the Jewish community's internal police force that receives both federal funding and township funding.
that's what I mean. Why am I? That means you, me, and most of the people that you know are funding a secret police for Jewish communities. I think that's evil. Why are you taking money out of my pocket? Why are you taking money out of Americans' pockets to fund a secret police? You know, if there was a secret police, an American secret police there, they would be saying, "Oh, it's the Gestapo. Oh, it's the SS." But because there was a great tragedy 70-something years ago, we're not allowed to even draw that connection. How dare we say that something related to Judaism is Nazi-ish? But it is. I mean, we're being forced to pay for a secret police. It's disgusting. That's no taxation without representation, right?
You guys want to be interviewed?
No.
Okay, respect. Are we in the heart of Lakewood right now?
What do you know for?
Just curious. Alright, he's pushing it. What's up? You want to do an interview? Okay.
I don't think it was nice how you portrayed the Jewish people and...
Well, what are we talking about? What's the context real quick?
What's the context?
Are we talking about Curious Joel?
Yes. I just don't think it was you were trying to portray. I think you just came into with a more of what you had a picture in your head trying.
What do you think I got wrong? What do you think was misrepresented? Like, I'm just trying to learn. What do you actually think I got wrong about it?
I just think there was agenda.
You gotta elaborate a little bit, though. You know.
What was the front of the YouTube page posted as? What was the?
Inside the New York town invaded by welfare addicted Jews.
Thank you. You answered the question.
Was I wrong though?
I actually think it's not true, but again, you'd say whatever you want. It's not welfare addicted. This is what it is.
Welfare reliance, welfare dependent. What would be a better?
Programs don't have it.
All right. What do you argue?
I would love not to have
that
them.
I have an obligation as a taxpayer to fund you and how many kids you want to have. If you want to have 30 kids, that's just how it is.
I'm arguing that if the law is set up to have certain criteria for people, and it's according to children, then people who qualify for it, legally qualify for it,
100%.
with no fraud at all, are entitled to get it.
And you'll give me the credit of acknowledging I never said that was fraudulent.
Yes, that's right.
I think it's exploitative by nature, though. Yeah, why don't you throw all your money at them and help sustain their lifestyle? Why do I have to take a cut of my paycheck to go towards Curious Joel's insulated Hasidic Jewish community that has nothing to do with me? I'll never get anything out of. There's zero upside for them to exist for me.
Anyways, we have the government makes criteria for getting...
Doesn't your Bible say those who bless Israel will be blessed?
Financial aid. And if someone qualifies for that criteria, I'm not sure why when the Jew does it, you're calling it exploitive or taking advantage, but...
Call it exploitative whenever anybody exploits it. You just like to think it's all about you.
You don't say that to all the other people and populaces that don't have it.
Well, I've never seen anything of this scale to where the families are this large and it's sort of baked into their strategy of child raising.
So are you against having children, having a lot of children?
I'm pro-children. That's great. I think you should be able to afford it. And I want to make an important distinction between the Amish, let's say, and the Hasidic Jews and Curious Joel. You tell me what's the difference.
I didn't pay that much attention the first time I watched this. I forgot this part was in here.
There are tons of differences.
Tons of differences. Most importantly, as it relates to finance, though, the Amish pay for themselves. They're self-sustaining. They're not reliant on welfare programs funded by the taxpayer.
I think I heard in a video there's, 40,000 people in Curious Joel? 44,000. And you spoke to 20 people around on the street.
Sure, perhaps an insufficient sample size.
And who obviously are not the ones working, because if they were working, they wouldn't have been on the street. They'd be working.
Sure, but it belies a pretty interesting question, right? How do they afford to raise such large families? How do they afford to study full-time?
First, I have to bifurcate your question. Okay. There's two groups. One is the ones...
First, I can't answer that question directly because it would portray my subject matter in a negative light. So let me divert your attention.
Who are learning full-time, and the others are the ones that are working. For Hasidim, almost all of them go out to work. However...
You guys are Jew and you can't pronounce Hasidim.
When they first get married, for the first 2 or 3 years, they'll learn Torah full-time. The wife will work. They don't have any children yet, or maybe they have 1 kid or 2 kids.
Hold on. They'll learn Torah? Mine doesn't have any accent markers on it, but if you look in the book, it's pronounced Torah. The accent is on the last part. Again, how are you Jewish and don't know that? It's not Torah, it's Torah. It's Torah.
Children, and then they'll get help from their family. And if their income qualifies, which it probably does, for financial aid, they'll get financial aid.
Okay, we got this guy following us. We're playing games now. We got the security van rolling on us as we roll on them. We got 1, 2, 3 police. Surely there's no conflict of interest we're about to experience. I wonder what law they're gonna claim I violated. How you doing? My name's Tyler. How are you?
Josh, man.
Good to meet you, Josh.
What's going on?
I don't know. We're just getting stocked.
Yeah?
Low key, yeah.
You look familiar, though.
My name's Tyler Oliviera. We're filming a little YouTube video. That's me, yeah.
Okay. So what are you filming out here?
Documentary on Lakewood, surrounding towns. Am I being detained? Is there a probable cause for this interaction? What's going on?
We just got a concern saying that you're walking up to people asking them questions, stuff like that.
Luckily, this is America, and that is the first thing.
How dare you walk up to people and ask them questions? Don't you know they're Jewish?
Amendment, right? It's beautiful. And I get you're doing your job.
Call us, we gotta come out here, right? See what you guys doing, like a documentary?
Exactly, it's a little documentary. Right now. Hey, how you guys doing? You guys want to say what's up?
What's up? What?
Is that a kosher vape?
What's up?
Okay, well, it's good to meet you guys. I know you guys got more important things to do, but good to meet you guys. Good to meet you. Thanks for keeping everyone safe. Thank you.
I'm part of the Showroom, which is public safety.
Yeah.
And we got multiple calls. Same reason why PD got calls.
Okay.
So that's it. We're just gonna follow you around. We're gonna let everybody know that they don't have to talk to you.
The police should be arresting this guy for following him around. But it's a federally funded organization. That guy should be in cuffs because he's stalking him.
With the Shamroom police on our back, it felt like we were being policed by a secondary form of law enforcement that seemed to exclusively defend the interests of the Jews community.
Formed the Gestapo.
Speaking of double standards,
which is crazy. They blitzkrieged the Middle East when Israel was formed. They went in and massacred the people that were inhabiting the land of Israel then. So it's just weird how as soon as they get the go ahead, they just flip the script and do the same thing.
Let's talk about politics.
I firmly believe that the tactics within this community, I would liken it to organized crime. We have an ultra-Orthodox person as our council president. You know, you can't think that there's not going to be things happening and rules and laws created to make his community stronger and better.
When do you eventually become involved in Jackson politics, let's say? You live in Lakewood, you don't even live in Jackson. Why do you even get involved?
What happened was this act of discrimination against the Orthodox Jews in Jackson was going on for about a year. And I had people calling me from Jackson with anonymous numbers, Orthodox Jews, because they were afraid for their safety. We're generally not violent people. If we have to defend ourselves, we will. And I think a substantial number of people in Lakewood now own guns.
Why?
Why?
They became fearful.
Oh, yes, because of the rise of anti-Semitism and the attacks on Jews. After about a year of them calling me, I really couldn't take it anymore. They're suffering.
Why did you topple the government?
I told you
why.
why.
Did you do it with ease?
Oh, it was not with ease. It was a tremendous amount of work. Agent in Manhattan trying to get stories out.
So now he's lying. This guy is not a trustworthy narrator.
The press, and then I met with this political group, like I said, who ran senatorial campaigns. We got the cell phone numbers of all the people in Jackson, and we planned a text. We started a website called Families for for jacksonjustice.org. By the way, I've since abandoned the website. Anti-Semites took it over. It's like when the Republican Club, which was vehemently anti-Semitic and run by the mayor of Jackson, had a U.S. Senate candidate, Republican candidate, there for their meeting, I had spies inside the organization, non-Jews, who were telling me what was going on. So the Republican Club, they had their senatorial candidate about to speak. We then texted to everyone in Jackson 5 minutes before he spoke, here's this new website exposing the religious discrimination, and had it populated with all kinds of information, statements. The mayor of Jackson had been voice recorded, not by me, but it was sent to me, where he was asked by the chairman of the Ocean County Republican Party if these were churches, would we be opposing them? He said, absolutely not. It was discrimination against Jews. They were going crazy. All the things I was doing, putting pressure on them. There was fighting going on among the elected political.
That's why I think we need to go ahead and change around some of the laws and amendments, because I don't see anything wrong with that. Again, I'm biased. I'm a Christian. Like, Christian nation, Christian values. I see nothing wrong with ensuring it stays like that. This is not a Western religion. Christianity is the Western religion.
People, resignations had started, and then I put out the ad on Fox News.
New developments in that deadly attack in New Jersey. Surveillance video shows they clearly
She's jobless now.
targeted that Jewish market.
There's a synagogue located next door.
There is no question that this is a hate crime.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and now it's coming from Jackson Township's government. Elected officials in Jackson have passed ordinances targeting Orthodox Jewish families. Exposed township emails show officials surveilling religious Jewish families, praying in their homes. They even took revenge on a decorated veteran who testified against their anti-Semitism. Jackson officials are intimidating Jewish families, and they admit it.
If these were charges, would we be fighting?
The biggest, where they went wrong was they were only willing to go this far. If they would have went further, they wouldn't. I mean, yeah, they probably would have been in jail, but they would have sure sent a message to the rest of the nation.
Absolutely.
Shameful. This isn't America.
It's put on the cable network provider for that area. In the meantime, I had 2 different calls with the White House. I know you want to ask me 1,000 questions. I will answer nothing more than that.
Okay,
sorry.
why?
Because.
And to be fair, yeah, the mayor's statement seems pretty damning, right?
Because Jeffrey Epstein is a known figure now.
Him saying, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah, right. And you heard that on the commercial.
Yeah.
By the way,
it seems discriminatory.
By the way, he's one of my best friends now.
Lifelong,
Because here's what happened. More Orthodox Jews kept moving in because of the financial and demographic forces I told you about, and we started to become a larger part of the electorate. And he was coming up for re-election as mayor, and he asked someone,
and he cucked himself, is what happened. He didn't want to lose his tiny little grasp on power, and to be fair, probably income, and he cucked himself rather than standing up for what is right.
Would come here and apologize to me. And he came here and he said when he signed those resolutions, he knew it was the wrong thing to do. But he said he was under so much pressure from all the political types in Jackson and the people who have constituencies, and they were yelling at me, so he just signed it. And he
was under pressure from the then majority, but he realized the tables were turning. And the Jewish majority was coming in, so he might as well keel over to them now. Spineless coward. The weak cannot lead.
Tell me now that he regrets doing it and he's going to work to get rid of those regulations. Then that result was the Orthodox Jewish community embraced him and we supported him. And I became the largest donor to his re-election campaign. Wasn't $1 million.
He becomes an ally to the Orthodox Jewish community.
He becomes not bigoted against us.
Why couldn't you just say yes?
The Jewish vote, this is another form of corruption. Imagine if I said, hey, I'm going to give you this amount of money and you do this. Okay, you can't do that. But if I could say, hey, I'm going to deliver you 50,000 votes that are all going to vote for you. So take Jack Ciattarelli in New Jersey. They were bragging that all of the Vlads got together, all the Jewish Vlads got together, and were voting for Jack Ciattarelli, and they did so like 97%. That voting bloc doing that now says, like, what they do is they take that and say, hey, we got all these votes, and we're going to all vote for you, but what are you going to do for us? And if you don't vote with us, we're going to take all of these votes, and we're...
That's why voting rights need to be redone. I'm a firm believer. Now, it's easy for me to say because I'm a veteran, but if you're not a veteran, if you're not a police or a firefighter or a major landowner, you should not be voting. It prevents tyranny by democracy. It prevents people from having a voice when they shouldn't have a voice. And that's most people. Most people, like I said earlier, are dumb. Most people are just retarded. And again, that's fine. That's the natural state of people. They shouldn't have the same kind of voice in the government as me, as somebody who served for 20 years, as a policeman who upholds law and order, as a firefighter who puts himself at risk. And I know I said it. I know I didn't say EMS.
We're to put our support behind somebody else. It's what they tried doing to Chris Pollock. I know, because I spoke to the dude who basically said it. They said it very arrogantly, where it was like, oh, we have 6,500 Jewish votes in Jackson. He is not winning. That's what they said to me.
Yeah, he won.
And he didn't just win, he won by a landslide because a lot of people showed up for him.
Okay. And by people, we're talking non-Jewish voters?
Even Jewish voters. He got over 20% of the Jewish vote, Chris Pollock. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So the tides...
2 rabbis, 3 opinions.
are shifting in Jackson, perhaps.
I think there's a group of people that, on both sides, that don't like what certain groups are doing. Remember, there's a lot of really good Jewish people that look really bad by these actions. The main comment that comes through my feed, no matter what it's about, Jackson, Brick, whatever, this town is finished. It's over. I don't know if you can stop them, and I'm not saying you can, but that doesn't mean you don't fight it. That doesn't mean you don't do what you can to do it. And you had people like Chris Pollock that he said, I'm going to do it the way of politics.
Okay, so Chris, I see these homes being built. Why are the locals so opposed to these houses being built? It seems still pretty peaceful out here. What's going on? What changed?
Because then they don't even get a slice of the pie when the invading force moves in. They don't even get to upcharge them on the house. They just move into these ones.
Have you noticed?
Well, it's becoming rapid changes and rapid development. You're going to be seeing a heavy increase in the population, and I don't know if our town is suited to handle it. Unfortunately, I've heard from several people that some developments only particularly want one group in there. It's people have gone in there and asked, hey, I'm interested in these homes. Some of them have been told it's not for them. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It seems like it's only for one group in one community. And
who's that group?
It seems like it's only for the Jewish community. I'm going to be honest. But when you create a community, they have some of them that are adding shuls into it, essentially synagogues into it. They're fitting the houses to fit this very specific needs of one community. Do you think anybody other than that community is going to move into there?
They technically cannot discriminate against a non-Jew purchasing a home, right?
No, you cannot discriminate against anybody buying a home. No.
But they could just say, hey, sorry, we sold it to someone else.
Yes, they can. I've heard people say, oh, we'll put you on the waiting list, because that's something that's going on.
LLCs are outbidding people trying to buy single-family homes.
Correct.
But you have a group of people that call themselves God's people. You are a Semite supremacist. You are a white Jewish supremacist because they're classified white. They don't want to live as a community with us. I think when I say they, again, I don't mean all of them. I do think I mean the far majority of them. I think they have their tight-knit community. I think their community lives completely separate than everybody else. They eat differently. They enjoy different things. Yes, we might drink, but everything is set in a different way.
As you ran for city council, did the rabbinical order try to buy you off?
I don't really have any relationship with the rabbis, but I have been taking a meeting with people who said they were liaisons to the rabbis. They went around touting how many votes.
Because they would never implicate themselves, because that's stupid. And they're not amateurish. They've been having to do this.
Votes they controlled. They told me pretty much straight out that they control certain politicians in town, and if I cater to their community, I might have access to the block vote.
Who did they say they control?
They said they control our mayor and our council president.
After a year, I couldn't bear it anymore, so I got involved. I hired a political campaign group out of Washington, D.C., that does political campaigns for Republican senators. I think they did Ted Cruz. And I wrote a letter to the mayor of Jackson telling him all the things I was going to do if they wouldn't reverse these discriminatory laws. In the meantime, there's another Jewish group called the Aguda that had a lawsuit against Jackson based on RLUIPA. That's the Religious Land Use Institutionalized Persons Act. And it says that the municipality, it's a law, federal law, municipality is not allowed to discriminate based upon upon religion, and in their lawsuit then showed all the emails from Jackson, all the things they were doing, conspiring against Good that had a lawsuit against Jackson. But in the meantime, this are the things I was going to let him pay a plea. I couldn't bear it anymore. So I got involved. I hired a political campaign group out of Washington, D.C. that does political campaigns for Republican senators. I think they did Ted Cruz. And I wrote a letter to the mayor of Jackson telling him all the things I was going to do if they wouldn't reverse these discriminatory laws. In the meantime, there's another Jewish group called the Aguda that had a lawsuit against Jackson based on RLUIPA. That's a Religious Land Use Institutionalized Persons Act. And it says that the municipality, it's a law, federal law, municipality is not allowed to discriminate based upon religion. And in their lawsuit, then showed all the emails from Jackson, all the things they were doing, conspiring against and executing to try to make life miserable for Orthodox Jews there.
But you went to work, and what happened next?
I went to Washington. I met with Ronna McDaniel, who was the head of the Republican National Committee, and the Speaker of the House at the time was Kevin McCarthy. He was actually in their conference room. So I met with both of them, showed them what was going on. They were shocked.
No, I think there's a lot to learn from the community. That's why I liked what we did yesterday. Their tactics benefit them. They are a solitary mass.
He's right. I have a buddy from Massachusetts who's a mega liberal, and he said we have a lot to learn from them, but he meant religiously. And like, I don't really think we do. The old covenant's done away with to a degree. I mean, the old covenant's been fulfilled. The new covenant is established. This guy's right. They have a lot of cultural tactics, a lot of social tactics that we do need to learn from, for sure.
Actually are a community. You can't deny it. They are not fighting over Trump or Biden. They're not fighting over left or right. They're not fighting over masked or unmasked.
Us versus the world.
It's antimatter, right? It's like we are fighting. Everyone in our towns, we're fighting against antimatter. We're not focused on what actually matters. We're not picking each other up. We're not one community. And I'm not talking about communism or any of that shit.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about caring about the person. They hitchhike.
What other world will you see hitchhiking in America in 2026?
Nonstop, yeah.
That's a testament to how high trusting they all are.
So there's something to be said about that. And there's a lot, I would love to see our kids playing again off of, getting out on bikes and getting out playing basketball and football and all of those things. I would love to see that. I'd love to see us act a little bit more like that.
We need to fight back against the state. We've had large lawsuits against us because they tried to keep out this problem. We've had the Department of Justice come down on us. Billionaires connected to the president involved in all this. What's happening in this little town in Jersey is bigger than people think.
And what's happening here in Jackson, will that become a problem in other small towns?
It's already a problem in all the surrounding towns.
The cop gonna go.
Okay. Get a shot of the cop.
We got the corrupt police pulling us over for what? We'll find out. We may be in a corrupt hellhole. Double cop car. We're getting pulled over. We got double police. Potentially nothing better to do. Let's find out. We weren't speeding. We weren't violating the law from the best of my understanding.
You have your driver's license registration?
What am I being pulled over for?
I'll tell you that soon.
Is there probable cause?
Yes, there is.
What
we got
exactly
a call.
is that?
We got a call on our phones
For
a suspicious person.
What's suspicious about me?
With video cameras.
There's nothing
in front of the
suspicious
school.
about expressing our First Amendment right.
No,
though.
you're good.
So what am I being pulled over for?
We got a call. Just so you know, you're being.
We got a call from our overlords that you were exercising your First Amendment right, and they were scared because they know it's going to make them look bad.
Audio and visual recorded.
Sure,
okay?
likewise.
So we got a call from dispatch.
Sure.
Saying there's a vehicle.
Okay.
With 2 men in it, videotaping in front of the school. When we get a call for that, that's our probable cause to stop you because they described your vehicle. So I'm asking you. What's illegal about the fact that we're recording? There's nothing illegal about it.
Sure.
I don't care that you're recording because I'm recording too. I just don't know who you are. And I don't. But for my safety, I want you back in the car.
Cool.
Okay. So back to me talking to you.
My name's Tyler, by the way.
Jonathan Pasillo. Nice to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you, yeah.
I'm stopping you. Can I have your credentials, please?
Do I have an obligation to self-identify right now?
I need you to identify yourself on this stop.
Yeah. He didn't say yes. And I mean, I'm usually all for following the cops and following the law, but in a place like this. See, this is where I flip-flop between civil disobedience and not.
And I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
We're
it's a
filming
lawful stop
documentary
because
piece.
they described your vehicle to a T.
Totally get it. I'm just trying to figure out if there's
Can
actual...
I just ask you a question?
Yeah, I can tell you what we're up to. If that's...
I just want to know who you are.
Yeah, my name's Tyler.
Oh, very good. My name's Jonathan. Like, explain that
Yeah,
to
good
you.
to meet you.
I stopped you.
Totally get it. Yeah, we're just talking about the changes in the town here.
Yeah.
We went to that school specifically because
But
it's shut down.
it's very. You see what I'm saying? Like when you have a camera in front of a school with kids. I mean,
can
if my
understand.
kids go to that school,
Sure.
I wouldn't want my kids to be video recorded.
Sure, well, we didn't enter the school. We were on the sidewalk.
It doesn't matter if you're in a certain distance of a school.
Okay. Okay, sure. You can have it.
And just do me a favor. Keep your hands on the steering wheel when you do so. Thank you so
Hands
much.
on the steering wheel.
Yeah, I just don't know what's in the car. Like I said, I don't know
Come
who you are.
on.
I don't know who you are.
That seems a little extra.
That's
definitely extra, but you can have it. There you go.
Thank you so much. I'm not saying I'm giving you a ticket or
Sure.
anything like that. I'm just identifying.
You got me back, man.
there's
Do
nothing
your
doing a
thing.
ticket for.
No, it has nothing to do with having a badge or anything like that.
Just stay near
It
the car,
does.
okay? Don't come near
It
us.
does.
Is this slightly excessive?
It's absolutely excessive.
Seems like a bully tactic.
Yeah, well, I don't know who placed that phone call.
How you doing, man? Hey, what's up? How are you?
How we doing?
Doing good, getting pulled over. You know we're up against small town police department, small town politics, lots of money. All right, so apparently the reason why these cops came out of thin air is because who just got called?
Well, we're gonna find out. The council president just called me.
So who is Morty Bernstein?
He is the council president in Jackson, New Jersey, and the most powerful man in the town.
Does he have the police in his pocket?
I don't think he has the police in his pocket at all, but the man does have an incredible amount of power. He's involved in political action committees with very rich and powerful developers, a lot of political connections.
Who are we messing with here right now, Chris? Was this a mistake? Is this video a mistake, man?
I'm going to be honest, the powers out here are pretty immense. Like I said, it goes up. You have billionaires from Lakewood being involved in what's going on in Jackson. People connected to the President of the United States.
If we zoom out, where does this all end?
Right now, it's gone to every town on the outskirts of Lakewood. They're buying up everything. Even if they're not occupying things, things are being bought up. I always say it's a real life game of Monopoly. So it's gone into Brick, and it's gone into Howell, and it's gone into Jackson and Tom.
As the Orthodox Jewish community in Lakewood grows, tensions spill into neighboring towns. You have the situation where there is demographic growth, but that is being used as an excuse to scapegoat the Orthodox community for all the trouble that the particular community has. Scapegoat a community for the trouble it brings. That's just accountability. Oh, but Alexander Rosenberg of the Anti-Defamation League said that.
Tom's River. Now it's going into Manchester. There are large portions of property being bought in South Jersey. We cannot keep up with this.
How do you combat a group of people chosen by God practicing rampant ethno-nepotism?
Here's the problem, bro. One Jewish student in Manchester said to me this: you guys will never come together because you have no shared sense of purpose.
True.
And that hit me because he's fucking right. Jews have a shared sense of purpose in what their outcome's going to be. And that's to expand the religion, that's expand their people. We don't have a shared sense of purpose. We're too busy arguing with each other. We're too busy talking Trump. We're too busy yelling about ICE. We're too busy focusing on Epstein's list. We don't have a shared sense of what is America and what are we trying to accomplish together. Americans don't have a shared sense of purpose about America. Jews have a shared sense of purpose in what their outcome's going to be. The only way that you're going to stop it, and the only way you can fight back about it, is by getting people that have a shared sense of purpose in the numbers that matter. Getting enough people with their eyes open to say, holy shit, something has to be done here. You have to get rid of the R loopholes. I don't think it's ever been challenged by the Supreme Court. It has to be taken to the Supreme Court. I think it violates the Constitution. You have to fight fire with bigger fire. And the sad part about it is they have the biggest fires.
That was the Tyler Oliviera I Exposed New Jersey's Jewish Invasion video. I think there's some very important things that America as a whole, especially these communities, need to start discussing and focusing on. I am totally against violence. There's no need to repeat past mistakes. But for as long as dual citizenship exists, they can always... They're more allegiant... If they're pro-Israel, they're more allegiant to Israel. They treat themselves like their own separate nation. And this is stuff that's pretty important to draw a light on or shine a light on. Because it's not just it's not just the Jews either. We've seen it with the Somalians in Minnesota. We've seen it with the Hispanics down south. Indians are a very insular group, and we're losing our own country. We're losing our European Christian valued country out from under us. I'm going to talk more about what I think needs to happen with the First Amendment and religious freedom and freedom of speech later on today. But thank you guys for joining me for this video. I hope you will join me for future videos like this. And I know the content's a little different. I'm going to start focusing more on stuff like this because this stuff is deeply important. As I said, I'm a theologian. I will be a pastor one day, and this has a lot to do with the spiritual health of America, as well as the financial health of America, which I do believe go hand in hand. I'm not a prosperity guy. But anyways, that's off topic. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will put Tyler Oliviera's new website in the description because he's been kicked off of Patreon. Give him a subscribe, give him a like, and I will see you guys in the next one.